The two voices, the ego and the miracle. This is a story about the awake explorer, whose 30th awakening adventure begins when one ordinary problem produces two completely different inner responses. As she listens closely, she discovers that the difference between fear and peace may not be the situation itself, but which voice she is choosing to follow. The female awake explorer was sitting in a café when her phone buzzed. A message from the retreat center appeared. "We're sorry, but your reservation for next week has been cancelled due to repairs." She stared at the screen. Immediately, the first voice arrived. "Of course. This always happens. You should have booked somewhere else." Now the whole week is ruined. She felt her body tighten. Then another thought appeared. You don't know what this means yet. It was quieter. Much quieter. She almost missed it. She opened the booking app. Everything nearby looked expensive. The first voice returned. "See? Disaster. You waited too long. You always do this." Her smartwatch vibrated. "Course correction. 2 teachers can use the same situation for entirely different purposes." She looked at the message. 2 teachers. That fit. One voice wanted evidence. Evidence that life was unreliable. Evidence that she had made a mistake. Evidence that she needed to hurry. The other voice was not arguing. It simply left room. She closed the booking app. Not forever. Just for a minute. At the next table, a woman was struggling to open a folded city map. The explorer helped her. "Thank you," the woman said. "I'm trying to find a small retreat house outside town." The explorer laughed. "Of course you are." The woman looked confused. "Sorry, long story." They started talking. The retreat house was not listed on the big booking apps. It was smaller, cheaper, and available. The explorer wrote down the name. Then she stopped herself. This was not proof that everything always works out perfectly. That would just be another story. The cancelled reservation was still inconvenient. The new place might be wonderful, or not. What mattered was how quickly fear had turned uncertainty into certainty. Bad certainty. The first voice said, "You know what this means." The second said, "Maybe you don't." She liked that difference. Later, she called the retreat house. A room was available. She booked it. Problem solved. But the lesson stayed. That evening, she sat by the window with tea. She thought about how the 2 voices showed up everywhere. Someone did not reply. One voice said, "They don't care." Another said, "You don't know yet." A plan changed. One voice said, "This is bad." Another said, "Let's see." A mistake happened. One voice said, "This proves something about you." Another said, "Can it be corrected?" The ego voice was fast, certain, personal, dramatic. It wanted a verdict immediately. The other voice did not need to win. It invited another interpretation. The explorer opened her notebook. She wrote, "Same event, different teacher." Then below it, "One uses the moment to strengthen fear. One uses the moment to loosen it." She paused. The word miracle had always sounded dramatic, something extraordinary, something impossible. But perhaps a miracle could be much quieter, a shift, a willingness. A moment when the mind stopped insisting that its first interpretation was the only one. The next morning, another message arrived. "Your train has been delayed 30 minutes. She stared at it. The first voice appeared. "Seriously?" She smiled. "Hello again." Then she noticed the second possibility. 30 minutes. That's all you know. She made coffee. No crisis, no battle, no need to become a better person before breakfast. Her watch remained silent. Good. She was beginning to recognize the pattern without help. At the station, she sat on a bench while people complained about the delay. She understood them. She could easily join. Instead, she watched the departure board. Same delay, same station, same uncertainty, and still, 2 completely different inner worlds were available. The train finally arrived. She stood and picked up her backpack. The miracle had not been the train appearing. The miracle had happened earlier. The moment she stopped letting fear explain everything. As she stepped aboard, she smiled. 2 voices, 1 choice, and a little more freedom each time she remembered she could choose again.